Okay. So from our last class, we were able to do some practice using controllers. We're able to create a controller and how we test things out. And we had to use in-memory database to store our data, right? So that's what we did in our last class. We used the list to do that. So today, moving forward, we would try to, the first thing we try to do is try to connect our project to a real database, right? So instead of we using in-memory for our practice or for our projects, and given that there is no enough time, we just go straight into creating our own database and testing it out with our project. Can I be heard? Are we good?
Yes, you can be heard.
All right, thank you. So today we'll be looking into EF Core. That EF stands for Entity Framework Core. We'll try to understand what it does for us and the benefits, core concept of EF Core, why we prefer to use the EF Core to manage our database, and some terminologies as time goes on, right? So what exactly is EF for Entity Framework? Or what exactly is this? So basically it's an object relational mapper, or in short, we call it ORM. So that might sound complicated, but in real sense, the concept is simple, very, very simple and straightforward. It will require you to practice more, okay? So as developers, we like to work with objects in our C# code. So when I talk about objects in our C# code, I'm talking about we creating classes the normal way, where we create the project class, the to-do class, and all. So that's like working with objects in our C# code. But now, databases, on the other hand, works with tables, rows, and columns. They work with tables, rows, and columns where we need to store our data there. So an ORM, like EF Core, acts as a bridge or a translator between our wall of objects and the database wall of tables. So just see it as, at your left-hand side, we have your object, while on the right-hand side, you have your database. So we need something that would convert your code, which is your object, your classes. We need something that would translate what you have done into the database. And that translator is regarded as this ORM. And one of the ORM is the Entity Framework Core. Are we following? Hello?
Yes, sir. I know, even that I didn't start.
Don't worry,
Yes, I
as
can.
we go, yeah, as we proceed, it
Okay.
will become clear. All right, thank you. So that's just it. So it allows us to interact with our database using familiar C# classes and objects. And it also handles some messy work of writing the SQL commands to fetch, save, delete data, and all. So for those who has knowledge of, who has idea of how SQL scripts are being written, you notice that it's always very messy, especially when you're trying to query a data, or you want to create a data, or you have to write queries for every operation using raw SQL, right? But with this ORM, you don't need to do that. It is very lightweight and it's cross-platform for any other database. Okay. All right. Life before EF Core. What was done, what was used before EF Core came into existence, right? So to really understand the value of EF Core, it helps us to see what we had to do before right? So the tool that was used before EF Core came into being was ArduNet, which is a powerful, and one thing with this is manual. It was manually written, okay? So how it works is that for every single database interaction, we had to write a lot of what we call boilerplate code, right? You will have to manually write the code to open a connection to the database. You would have to write out your SQL query as a simple string of text. You also need to write SQL queries for creating an object and also executing it, and then manually reading through all the results and all. So for every operation you do, you would write a long list of queries, right? Which was not ideal at all. So this was not only tedious, but also it was very easy to get wrong, because there could be a time whereby when you are writing, you might make mistake in one of the statements, right? And a simple typo in your SQL string would break your application, right? It could break your application. And because SQL was just text, it means then there was nothing like C sharp compiler that will help you to figure out or check where there is error. So imagine you writing a statement and you make a mistake, and when you push it, you notice that it's not going to be ideal and all. So that was the issue with this Ado.net. Okay. Now, the core concepts of EF Core, what are those things we'll be seeing when we start using EF Core in our C Sharp project? What are those things we'll be seeing? So the first one is the model, right? So this is simply your collection of C Sharp classes that defines the structure of your application's data, right? Like the ones you are used to, like the one we are currently on, which is a to-do application, right? Where you create your user, your project, your to-do list, then the comments and all. So all those are your models. You are trying to structure everything out first. That is the first thing you need to do. You need to create the models, which is what you are used to doing. And those are your entities, basically, right? So after the model, the next thing is the DB context. So this DB context is the most important class in EF Core. Don't worry about all this theoretical stuff. When we go into the code, it would make sense. Okay. Sorry about the whole theory. All right. So this is the most important class in EF Core. So you can just think of it as your main gateway to the database. Remember, I said earlier that ORM EF Core acts as a bridge, as a translator between your objects, your classes, and the database. So this DB context is like the gate to your database. Just see it as a gate to your database. Without this DB context, you can't store things in your database. So there needs to be this DB context before you can able to store or query information from the database. All right. Then finally is the database provider, right? The database provider. We all know we have different types of database. We have the SQL Server, the SQLite, Postgres SQL, and all. So we just need to choose one. Now, the beauty about this ORM, right, is this. Okay, for example, now I use SQL Server for my to-do application. And maybe in 3 years or 4 years time, I want to use SQLite. I could actually, in that line, it's just you need a change. You just need to change one line of code in order for you to change from one database to another. That's the beauty of ORM EF Core. But Ado.net, which is the manual way of writing code was that you always write, let's say you started with SQL Server. SQL Server has their SQL scripting language that is different from SQLite and Postgres SQL. So assuming you started with SQL Server and you wanted to switch to SQLite, it means you have to create another language script for SQLite. And assuming you want to switch to PostgreSQL, you have to create another language script for this. But for the ORM, you are dealing with what? Models classes. You don't need to change your classes in order to change your database, right? Are we following?
Yes, sir.
I don't enter trouble. Are we following?
So we
Yes,
are
sir.
following, but I have question. But let me when you are done.
Okay, let me finish. So with ORM, you don't need to change your models or you just need to, there is a line of code that connects all you have done to a database. So you just need to change that line that is saying connect to SQL Server and replace it to SQLite, and it works fine, right? Okay, go ahead. Get the gift. Yeah, the
All
gift,
right,
go
sir.
ahead.
Sir, okay. It's concerning the changing of database. Like you
Okay,
just mentioned that all of them have their own code, like
scripting
SQL,
language.
yes, scripting
Mm,
language. Is when maybe if I want to transfer from SQL server to SQL, how can I do that? But I know we have not said anything concerning how we can do that. That's the question I have.
okay, that's a research you would go in depth into. That's another concept, how you can do that. That's your except you're trying to say the manual way to do that or using ORM. Which one?
The ORM method.
Don't worry, when we go into code, you will see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Any other question? Okay, let's oh your noise. Who is muted? Uh okay. All right. So let's proceed to the next one. Now, why use EF core? Like, why do I need to use it? What are the benefits of using it? So the biggest benefits is productivity, right? We get to write much less code because EF core handles all those data access plumbing for us, right? So instead of worrying ourselves with trying to rewrite the SQL queries, okay, EF Core does that for us behind the scene. Why we just need to worry about our business logic, our models, our crude operations. Why EF Core takes care of connecting it and translating our code to the database so the database can understand what was done and store our data. So EF Core does that. Without EF Core, we'll be writing SQL queries manually. So that's the major benefits of using that. So among that, we have the cross-platform. So cross-platform means it's not strictly, Ado.net, right? One of the setback of Ado.net is it was strictly Windows, right? You can use it for Windows, you can use it for Mac OS or Linux, but with EF Core ORM, it's cross-platform, meaning you can what your code for your Windows, you can also use it for Mac OS and you can also use it for Linux. So that's another benefit of it. Then we have the change tracking. You can track changes to your objects, and you know what to save to the database. Then migration, right? If there is any change in your models, you can easily update it to the database. So all of this we'll see when we go into the code. Okay. So the whole idea of this is for us to use database for our project instead of in-memory database like the list, the arrays, dictionaries, and all. Any question? Hmm. I hope this thing
So
never awful.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, sir, is about this migration of 18.
Mm,
Uh, um, concerning the migration, like when you do migration, is there
mm.
anything like automatic migration?
Automatic migration.
Sir, sir,
If there's anything like automatic, what do you mean by automatic migration? Like the migrations, you would write the script, you're
like you
going
don't
to
need
write the
to,
command for it
yeah,
yourself.
you just say it, add like migration, you specify what you want to add then. Do
Mm-hmm.
you, is there anything like when you have automatic migration, I don't know.
Automatic. When you say
Um,
automatic, it's what's coming to my mind is if something is doing the migration itself without you triggering it or triggering it,
and yeah,
you need
something
to
like
write
that.
the command to migrate. You need to write the command yourself, right? Hmm?
Okay, okay.
Or what
Mm-hmm.
brought about the question? Was it a research or something you want to share?
Yes, I've forgotten where the name there, but there's this particular name there. They are called it, I don't know. But so don't worry, just continue.
Okay. All right. Now, when you remember, just let me know now. Hmm? I
Oh,
want to learn
oh,
from you too. All right. Okay, so these are the benefits and all. So finally, let's look into some terms you need to get used to, right, in EF So when popular terms are entity. So entity is just basically the class, right, that you want to save to the database. So each entity class typically maps to one database table. So every class you create is actually a table, right? Every class you create is actually a table, right? So just take note of that. And each object or instance of that class maps to a single row in that table. So all this you would see when we do that in the code. So other terms, key terms, important terms are the DB context, which you all know it's the gateway to your database. So it manages the database connection and tracks changes to entities or to classes. So we have the DB set. Now, this is an important terminology. So DB set is a property you find on your DB context, right? So each DB text, right? Take notes. Each DB text represents one table, right? Each DB text represents one table. So we can have a DB text for project, we can have a DB text for user, we can have a DB text for to-do list, we can have a DB text DB set for comment and for labels and all, right? So that's how it works. So this is just the theoretical explanation of it. So when we go into the code, everything would make sense. Okay. So we have migration. I've said what migration does, set of code that describes changes to your database schema, right? So had you been to an example is your project class, maybe your project class has two properties at start. So we have the name and the date, maybe the name property and the date property. So you started with the name and the date property. Then for that model, you have to run a migration. So the reason of running that migration is to track the properties in that entities and also to update your database using the migration that you have created. So that's the essence of this migration, to track the properties or to store the properties of that entities and also to update the database. So if peradventure you added another property to the entity, which is now three, maybe you added time to the project, you have to also write a migration command to get that latest change and also update the database with that change. If you don't do that, who can tell me what will happen? Let me see who was following. They will say, sir, come again.
Like,
Let me see who was following. Aya, who can tell me what will happen? Why you need to keep updating the database for every change you make? Maybe you add a property in your entity, you have to update the database, right? Migrations. Why do we need to do that?
hello, sir.
Okay, the gift raised the hand. All right.
Okay, to my own understanding, why we need to update the database in every change that we made is for the database to recognize the new update made, because without that, it will flag error when you are trying to run the program.
All right.
And if you did not update it, that new table will not appear in the database. The database will not know that there is a change made. You still have the other table that you migrated to it.
Okay, exactly. Yeah, thank you. All right, Sammy, you wanted to say something too?
She have said mostly everything. Whenever we update, we are giving an information to the database that okay, there is a new changes on this application. But if we did not give an update and we try to run the application, there are things that's going to happen that if we are trying to implement, we are trying to run some actions on those new changes, the database will not be able to recognize, and sometimes we are going to be seeing some internal server error as
Yeah,
regarding to such kind of things.
yeah, sure. All right, yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's just it. Then finally, we have the link. This link is one concept on its own, which it has confused so many people, right? So it demands your time, it demands you need to practice more. I am just talking about this, emphasizing on this particularly because this is a very important concept, language integrated query, which helps to query data from the database. So example is your project has many tasks, right? Am I correct? Project has many tasks or to do tasks.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So I want to be able to query tags in that project. I want to be able to query the tags in that project. So we sometimes we use link to do that, to perform link query, which is optimizable and all. So this might be confusing at start, which is fine. So you just need to take your time to go and do more research and just practice. That's how I was able to understand this. At first, it took me time, like 2 months, 3 months. Yeah. So you need to take more time on this, especially. All right. Any question before we go into demo? Are we good?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what we'll be doing now, right? What we are going to do now is Gift, you know how to use GitHub?
I don't know how to use GitHub. Oh. I've
Okay,
been
because
doing
I
things in
want
GitHub, but I don't understand it.
okay. All right. I'm sure Samuel Deligwe, you guys know how to use GitHub now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to spend like maybe 10 minutes. I'll just show on the video how to set that up. But Edegit, you've heard about GitHub, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is GitHub? Tell me what's the benefit of using it? Like,
Okay, the benefit of using GitHub is just to save our work. So just to save our work in, like, making it to be in a saved hand. maybe in case maybe you are working on something and mistakenly you lost the data, you can easily go to your Git and clone it back.
Okay, great. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you. So we are going
Yes.
to our project or our work of previous class, post it on the GitHub, and I'm going to show us how to do that. Okay. To me, can
Okay,
you see
sir.
my Visual Studio?
No, sir.
Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Let me add that now. All right, I think it should show now. Okay. How about now? Is it showing?
Not okay, yes.
All right, it's showing now. Okay, so
Yes.
this is what we're going to do now. I'm sure everyone is familiar with creating the normal projects and all where we have this. I have let's take this thing here. All right, so this is my APIs. This is my API, my core infrastructure and test. I want to post this on GitHub. So how I do it is, first of all, I've done this. Secondly, I go to GitHub. Can you see my, okay, let me share this browser first. You can see my browser, right?
I'm just saying to you. Oh, yes.
Okay. So I'll just go to, you can see my browser, Shay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about my laptop. It's taking time. So what I would do is I'll come here to repositories. This is where I come to this repository, right? Then I click on it, and it takes me to new, right? So I'm going to create a new repository, which is here. So I'm going to create it, right? So I'll give it a name, which is what um, tax management, where you can give it any name of your choice, right? Then um, 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 after giving it the name, description, if you want to give it a description, you know, and after
So what
doing that,
description is for?
just to tell people that are visiting your profile, tell them more about this project. What is this project all about? This is it's just to describe what the project is all about. Okay, that's the
Is
description.
that the readme?
No, description,
Okay.
readme, they are two different things. Description is the summary, like it just tells the summary of what
Okay.
your project, your repository is doing. Why readme contains the detailed explanation, right? The details. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done this. I would create the repository here, and then I have this and this. I have these two here. So the first thing I would need to do is I would go to my um Visual Studio. I think I'm going to use command window. Command window. I can use command window for that. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Let me see if this is working fine. Okay, this command window is not on. Let me use PowerShell. All right, I'll use PowerShell for that. So I'm going to use PowerShell to run the commands first. Let's see what is there. ls. Okay, I have nothing. So first thing first is to initialize this as a Git repo. That's the first step you need to do. So after doing that, the next step is you come here, you add a readme. This you add a readme, yeah. This is the command to do that. So you just copy this. Don't worry, you can always go back to this video, and if you want to practice along, this is how I do mine. People have their different ways of creating a repo and tying it to their project. This is how I do mine. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. So I've created the README. Next is to I want to stage all of them. I've created them. I want to stage all of them. I would send you a video link on GitHub, right? I'll send you it's a concept, like it's a whole lot. Okay. I'll just send you a video that will
Okay.
explain everything. Yes, you
Okay.
stuck with this. Okay. Add. Permission denied. So I have to remove this now. Because what is it saying? Sorry, I'm coming. All right, so I'm supposed to send just these three. Git add readme tasks. So I want to stage these three. Okay. Then after staging it, I commit it. Let me just give it first commit. Sorry guys, I'll soon be done. Later you guys will share me your Git username. Master, I want master branch. Now let me choose this one first. And then the master branch. Okay. Then push. Dum, bum, bum, bum. So brain soon be done. Permission. Okay. I need to add. I'm using to Git username. Sorry. So I have to allow request for this one. Sorry. Let me just quickly do that. I'm using to Git username. And they give, don't get confused, because yeah, I'm coming.
No problem, sir.
All right. So I want us, the reason for doing this, for hosting it on GitHub, is so I can easily share you the code and you can just use it to practice. That's why I'm doing this. Sorry, I'm coming. Okay, let me accept here. Coming, guys. I'm coming. All right, so accept invite, and we are good to go. All right, so we are good to go now. Let me come back and rewrite this again. So everything is done. So it has pushed to GitHub. So if I come here, to GitHub now and click this. I would see what have been pushed, which is this. So 3 minutes ago, so this is what I've done, which is public. I think this is public now, right? Yeah, this is public. So for every change that we're making, I will just be pushing here so you guys can. I'll share the link later on. All right, let's proceed now. Tax management. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. How many are we in this call? Marian Uba, you're just joining. Okay.
We
So
are
what I
5.
need to do is, sorry, Sammy.
No, I said we are 5, including you.
Okay. All right. So I want to clean this up. I want to remove everything that has to do with the weather forecast. I want to clean everything up. And this is what we'll be using for our main practice demo. I want to remove every forecast. Who can tell me why I'm removing weather forecast?
Because you want to separate the table from the logic.
Not really, because I don't want, this project is not about weather forecast. It came with the template when I um, used this web ASP.NET Web API. So it came along with weather forecast just for practice, but it's not aligning with tax management project. So I want to remove everything that has to do with weather forecast and right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So you just like control home controller when you have home controller in MVC.
Sorry.
I say, is it just like home when you have home controller in MVC, like when you open MVC projects?
Okay, MVC, the model view,
Yes, you see like home
APIs
controller.
control. Yes, yeah. All right, this is my program.cs. Okay, it's clean. Then what do I need to remove again? All right, so everything is clean now. What else? So I've made that change. All I just need to do is come to my git changes. This is my git changes, right? This is the git changes and all. Then all this .vs now, you see you in your code, when you connect to your GitHub, you'll be seeing all this .vs. This .vs is what comes up when you compile and run your code, right? These are the um, files that comes with it, which is not relevant, right? You can't actually read it or even understand it. So you don't need to push this to GitHub. So there is a file we call gitignore. So gitignore is a file that helps us to restrict some files from being pushed to GitHub, right? So assuming I don't want to push this to GitHub, maybe when I'm trying to stage everything or push everything to GitHub, I don't want to push this exact one. All I just need to do is add this .vs to gitignore, and it's going to ignore this, meaning if I'm pushing everything, it's not going to push this one because this is already in the gitignore file. I know it's going to be confusing. It's confusing, but with time, the gift, okay?
Yes. I know
Yeah,
you comment.
it's practice. Yeah. So I want to ignore all that in my git, no? Okay. So these are the changes that have been made. Even this one, I need to, right, I'll do that. Okay.
Are you adding them to
Right.
git ignore?
No, I just added that one. It's already here. If you check the git ignore, you see it here. See it here. /dot.
Oh, like,
Yes. Can you see my screen?
yes, I can see, but I didn't see how you did it.
No, there are two ways, right? The first, I'll just show you the first way. The first way is just come to your git change. If I want to git ignore this, I just right click, right? You right click and you click on ignore and on track item. When you click
Okay.
ignore and on track item, it will automatically bring it here.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we did. So I want to actually do this. So I want to ignore this as well. So I'll just right click, come here, then do that. It's going to add it here. Same thing with this one. Same thing with this one. All right, so it does that. Okay. All right. So I'm done with that change. I've staged everything. I want to push. So I just need to give it a message. So this is this is you. There are two ways to push into GitHub or handling the GitHub commands. You either do it using command lines or you do it using graphic user interface, GUI. So this is the GUI flow or GUI pattern trying to push to GitHub. Why when you saw me typing the commands for it, that is the command line, right? Using command line to push to GitHub. So there are two ways to it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So your message or Git, your commit message must be meaningful, right? So I removed irrelevant files. These people say the hardest thing you can ever do as a programmer, you can spend time trying to figure out is to write a message for your changes. How true is that, Sammy? Cool.
So it's true.
Exactly.
So you spend 3 minutes trying to figure out the commit message. Eh?
It
Exactly.
depends on if you have done so many things, and that's why it's advisable. Like you should do things in chunks so that if you do one part, send it, do one part, send. Because if you have done so many things, that is when it's very difficult for you to say, okay, everything I've done, those, how can I write them in just one sentence and commit it? So that's
Yeah,
the way I see it.
So if you
exactly.
want to do that, how you know if you have a lot of things you have changed?
Yeah, and that's what we'll do now, Chef. Now we want to create models, right? We want to create.
It even goes down to variable
Sorry?
name itself.
Yeah, variable names too. That's another another one entirely. Oh. Variable names. Yeah, I swear. It's all right. Okay, so let's do this now. So like I said, in our core, right? Our core now would have the domain, right? So how I usually do my own structuring is inside the core. Who remembered I would create a class library, right? Class library. Who can tell me? I know I talked about class library from the beginning. What can you say about class library? Who wants to try?
Okay, so I'm saying that a class library is just like having a separation of concern away from your main logic. Like having the
Mm,
data
not
from having the
really.
data.
Not really. You tried, but not really, 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 really. Yeah, Sammy. Thank you anyway. Thank you for the gift. Yeah, tried. Okay,
Okay.
Sammy.
For me, class library is a way whereby we segregate our projects, just like you have said. When we create the solution, when we have different projects like this one we have right now, we have the core, the infrastructure, we have the domain layer, and the rest. So the availability of way to create those projects inside our solution, because each of them stand as a project. So the ability for you to create those projects is by we using the class library. So class library help us to do such kind of tasks. That's where I see it though.
Okay, all right. And the most important thing is the class library stores in reusable components, right? Library, from the word library, it means it can be reused. You can actually get some information about what is in that library and you can use it somewhere else, okay? So class library is like a reusable component that you just need to, let's say this core contains the model library, and assuming you want to use this model library in the API, all you just need to do is to import that library in your API and use it. Are we good?
Yes.
All right, thanks. So I'm going to create how I do my own structure, which is different from some developers, right? Okay. So I would create a new project, which is going to be a library, class library, which is going to be a class library. Then I would call it the name of the solution, which is tax management dot domain. I usually give my models, I give them domain. Domain has to do with the what the project is all about, the entity that contains the different entities. I usually give it, you can actually give yours dot models, right? But conventionally, right, models, we use more of domains to represent models. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is how I'm doing it this way, right? Good. So it's tax management dot domain. This is like also saying tax management domain, like saying that, but research doing it this way is more better, right? It's more better. Tax management dot domain. So just as we have the tax management dot API, I'll show us that. Okay, next. Now, who can remind me the framework of this project? Is it framework 8 or framework 9?
Framework
I don't
8.
know. Framework 8. I don't know. So one thing with I know that's why I'm stressing on this now, because I have encountered it that first time. When when you create this project using framework 8, anything you install, whatever you install, has to be 8 all through. You can't just use 8 for the project and your class library you want to use 9. You are going to encounter conflicts and all. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So if it is 8, you use 8 all through. If it is 9, you use 9 all through. Or else you spend years trying to fix a bug. Okay. All right. So this class library came with this. I just need to delete this because I don't need that for now. So delete that. Bam, 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 bam. Delete, 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 delete. One more thing now. I would need to write out the steps and the guide that would help us understand how everything is going to flow, like from the beginning to the end, which is going to be very helpful, right? But it's going to be a whole lot. It's going to be a whole lot. So let's do this first. Where's my notes app? All right, this is my notes app. Okay. Can you see my notes app?
Not yet.
My can you see notes?
Not yet.
All right. Okay. Let me check it. All right, I need to open it. Da, 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 do, do, do. So we are also having a class Friday and Saturday in the night, right?
So have you
So have
No,
you
go
have you
ahead.
been concluded?
included? Yes, that's what I want to ask, sir. You have not
Yes,
told
yes.
us now.
He said it.
It has been concluded. Nobody objects to my authority, as said Sammy. So I have the final say.
So
Yes,
I
tutor.
no no I sorry somewhere I saw his voting card, so
I know
I
people have
tried.
not.
But
So
then
will it be convenient for you?
yes, I'm okay with any of the time there.
All right, so 10 p.m. Friday, 10 p.m. Saturday. It's going to be 1 hour, maybe 4 hours or 5 hours a day. Depends.
So I did not get you, please.
So what I want to know is this Samuel's or the one we are doing with Samuel
No,
or
no,
the
no,
one we
no,
are
No,
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 doing
no,
no,
with
no,
no, no,
you?
no, no, no.
no,
That's
no.
you guys, it's you guys' business.
Okay,
It's
so what about the club we are having with you, like weekly?
yes, although yeah, that's the one, and that's including the Friday and Saturday, which will be recorded in case you miss the class.
Sorry, I don't get to not getting.
Like the normal class is Tuesday and Thursday, right?
Yes.
So the reason for the additional Friday and Saturday is just to cover up everything. We just have 2 or 3 weeks left in this August.
Yes.
So that Friday, Saturday is just to cover up so I don't end up rushing things, right? I don't want to rush things. Okay. So that's the need for
Okay.
that Friday, Saturday, which will be recorded in case you do not meet up in one of the days. It's just like the
Okay.
normal class. Yes.
Okay, so the one we are having
Yes.
with somewhere we is not
It's
is
your
not is,
personal, yeah, it's your
okay, I
own.
get
That's
Yeah.
now. So we have
personal.
not concluded on that one somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the flow is simple, right? This is a guide to you, right? For us, right? When trying to structure your own. So first thing first, you do what? Set up the project, which is what I did. Like setting up the project has to do with all these, your structuring your layers, your API, your core infrastructure. Then this one will have the tax management API. This one will have the tax management domain. So that's what they call setting up your project. Okay. Right.
Okay.
So after setting up the project, the next thing is to do what? Install required packages. Install required packages. So most of your projects, right? Packages, this package, you can see these packages as libraries that has been written by um, different developers, and you want to actually use this library in your project. So for you to use it, you need to install it into your project. So those important packages, right? You'd have to install the basic one that's going to um, flow well with your code and all. So you install the required packages, set up the project, install the required packages. Then thirdly, you create the models, which is what we want to do. Like I said, this is not important. It's not important for you to that you follow these steps. So some developers, they prefer to set it up, create models, do orders, then at the end, if they encounter bug that requires the package, they now come and install the package, right? So this is my own, this is how I do my own. The way you do yours might be different from how I do my own flow.
So we like your
Okay.
own pattern, your own flow.
Okay. Oh,
Mm.
I am this one. Let me add this one so you like it more. Refreshment or take a break, right?
So that means we need refreshment now.
I beg go. All right. Then fourthly is create the database context. Create the database context. So this database context is that your DB context, which is the gateway to your database. So after your models, you create your database context. Then if there is any, after creating that, if there is any authentication, which we will do, right? If there's any authentication that can fall in step 5, which is what configure your JWT authentication. Don't bother yourself what is the JWT, right? It's not for today's class. There would be a class on that. Okay. Configure. Right. Then what else again, which should be your business logic, the business logic, right? Your business logic, which is your basic CRUD operations. Okay. So after this database context, right, you configure your JWT authentication, then you register the services, register the required services in your program .cs, register the required service in your program .cs, then the business logic, right? I might be mixing it up. Let's all right, business logic. After the business logic is your APIs. Set up your APIs or controllers. Set up your APIs or controllers. And what else again? There's one important thing I'm even missing. Okay, set up your controllers, APIs, then migration. Yes. Migrations and updates database, right? This can come before this can come, it just all depends, okay? Then finally, which is what we will not do. Okay, yeah, we'll do that one. Yeah, test. After doing everything, you need to run the code. Test joke, run the code or API or controllers or APIs. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, so great. So this is like a guide. This is what we'll be doing from now henceforth. So imagine you doing this all your life, like in 5 years, let's say for over 5 years or 10 years, you have been doing this same pattern. I mean, you will definitely know programming now. There's one thing about programming. When you do something repeatedly, like you do it the first time, doesn't make sense. Second time, it doesn't make sense. Third time, it's making small sense. Fourth time, like that. Before you know it, the 50th time or 44th time, or you notice that everything is coming into place, right? Abby?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you don't need to feel bad that you are learning it the first time, it's not making sense and you want to give up. Nah, me, I always believe that everyone can actually learn this coding. Everyone can learn coding. It just depends on your time and your dedication, your commitment to it, right? Some people are fast in grasping concepts, while some are slow, right? So you just need to understand yourself. If you are fast, fine. If you are slow, you need more time to practice. You know. Okay, so this is it. We have set it up. We have installed okay, we need to install the required packages. So how do I install the packages? How am I going to install the required packages that I will need? If you remember, one of the things I talked about in the slide was the database provider. We need a database provider. Who can tell me what a database provider is? Hello, database provider. An example of a database provider.
The SQL.
Exactly. SQL Server, SQLite, Postgres, SQL, and all. Okay. All right. So we need to install that's the database provider. And where do we install it now? Right. I can't install it in my domain because I'm trying to keep this simple. My domain contains only the models, right? Infrastructure. Now, infrastructure would who can tell me what the infrastructure does? Hmm?
I think the
Hello?
infrastructure layer is where we have the DB context and rest.
Okay, the DB context. So definitely it's going to have our the package where we need to, it means what I'm saying now, yeah, you're right. So reason for asking that is I want to install the SQL Server database provider, right? So reason I asked is this infrastructure would have to do with the database and connection and all. So it would be right to install that in this layer and not in this layer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So that's what we will do. So this is my infrastructure. So in here, infrastructure now is splitted into two, right? How I do mine. So I have the infrastructure and I have the persistence. I have the infrastructure and I have the persistence. Let me just split them into two first, and I'll explain briefly what they are doing. So I'll right click here, then add a project, class library project. For that, okay. All right. Don't worry. Once we are done with this whole project, and you can actually use it as guide to do any kind of project. This is just setting the ground, like the foundation. You can always make reference to this, use this to do other projects, right? So that's how I learned anyways. Yeah. So right, class library. So I have um, tax management dot infrastructure, tax management dot infrastructure first. Let me just copy this one first. Okay. Mm, mm. I delete this one. I don't need that class. Mm. Whenever you create a class library, it comes with a library, it comes with a class. So that's why I usually delete it. So I have the infrastructure layer and I want to have another layer. Uh, I wouldn't want to use the bad way or the rough way of teaching. So I just want to use slight standard. Okay. That's why I'm doing this. I can actually do everything in one file. Yeah, I can do everything in one project. To me, it will not really go well. Right, infrastructure, then resistance. Okay. All right. Persistence. So I have to delete this now. All right. Come here and delete it. All right, so I have these two now. So whenever you have so many collapse stuff and you want to collapse everything, you can just come here and collapse all. It's going to collapse everything and that. So my infrastructure is split into two parts, the infrastructure and the persistence layer. So now this infrastructure, most applications, right, they would need some kind of services, right? Maybe they would need your application, maybe you are asked to build an application that handles the to-do, that handles this task management stuff, right? You have done that. Now, the requirement is that your application should be able to send message or email to the users, telling them about or notifying them about a change that has been made, right? So what now that email stuff is a service, that email feature or that email requirement is actually a service. So those services that you just need to plug in into your project, we actually store those services in the infrastructure layer. We have the email service, or for those that have heard about socket.io, all those real-time application, real-time chats. Who have heard about that? Hello?
So I'm not to.
I have not heard about it. Who else?
Haven't.
Okay. So real-time application is like your WhatsApp now, like your WhatsApp. You don't need to refresh the page. You just send a message to your sisters or your brothers, and without you refreshing anything, you get instant reply. So that's a real-time communication, real-time notification, where you get a reply fast, right? Without you reloading the page and all. So all those are service. There is a service that manage that kind of feature. Okay, so all those are service, and those kind of service we put them in this infrastructure layer, right? Yeah, so I'm trying to think of some other service. Who can tell me all about other services that an application can have?
AWS, maybe S3 buckets or something.
Sorry?
Like AWS, maybe all these third party.
AWS is more like it's for deploying your API.
So what
Yeah,
about the
Uh,
interface?
interface. No, 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 no. Interfaces. No, 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 no. Don't worry, I'll come to that
or even
interface later.
Paystack also.
Paystack. Yeah, Paystack. You need Paystack in your application, like manage payment, subscription, and all those services will be here, right? Now, the persistence, when you hear of persistence has to do with something saving an entity or data, saving persistent to, or that persists to the database, or it has to do with saving to the database. So this is where anything that has to do with the database will be kept here. So we just have the infrastructure and we have the persistence. So this is the part here where we are going to install the database package, right? And how do we do that? I just come here, then right click on the dependency. Currently, I have no packages here. I just have analysis and framework. I don't have package here. So I just come to these dependencies, right click, then you would see manage NuGet packages. Manage NuGet packages. So I would click on this now, and it's going to take me to the UI that has all the, come to browse, you click on browse. Browse is containing all the packages that you need to, maybe you are interested in or you want to install. While installed is just like your downloaded. It's containing all the packages that you have installed or downloaded. Then update is maybe there's one of your package that needs to be updated. You will see that notification here telling you that you need to update it, right? So currently I have no install because I've not installed anything. Then update, there's nothing. So browse now is where it's going to contain all the NuGet packages and or you can decide to you can even decide to create your own package and host it on Microsoft. Yeah, which is fine if you want to. All right. So the first thing is the Microsoft, it has even popped up for us, Microsoft Entity Framework Core .sql server. So this is the first package we need for our project, right? It's a database provider, which is like our database. Yeah. So I'll just need to click on it. Like it says here, Microsoft SQL Server database provider for Entity Framework Core. You click on it, it shows you the README. So this is the README. We have the README and your package details. The README is containing the definition. This is like your GitHub. Like someone has actually used the GitHub to host this project, this .sql server. This is a README containing the detailed explanation of what it's all about, right? So the usage, basically README should contain a brief definition, how to use the project and how to get started, then maybe documentation links, right? So all those stuff could be included in the README. So if you want to read that out, so this is just it. But this is what we need, right? Then package details. This is the latest version 9.0.8, the author, Microsoft, then all these are the license. You can just check them out. Now, I would install. Who would tell me why I shouldn't install this? Because this one is an important, this one, this bug, you spend years trying to, in fact, in eternity, you know, if you fix this bug until, okay, Marian raised her hand first, okay.
Okay, so you need to consider the version.
Exactly. Yeah, the version, very, very important. We can even try it out first. Don't worry, we'll try it out now. Okay, Sammy, is that what you wanted to say?
Yes, that's what I want to say because we are using 8 and we want to use 9 here.
Oh yeah, fine. Let's try and use 9 and see. Let's install it. Let's see what will happen. Yeah, I spent 1 week. I remember then I spent over 1 week. I think 1 week or 2 weeks trying to, like, this thing was not installing. Like I was like, what's happening now? Let me see if it will even install safe. Waiting for it to. Okay. It seems it has installed. Let's see. Because then when you try to install version that is higher than yours, it's not even going to allow you to install. That's why I'm even shocked it allowed me to install this. Because I know then I tried installing 9 or something higher that is different from my framework, and it was flagging error that this is different from your version, and I didn't even understand what that means sef. It was when someone explained to me that your framework is 6 and you are trying to use 7, which will not make sense, right? So even this, even if they allowed this, it's not cool. It's not cool. So try and use. So I'm going to uninstall it. Try and use 8 because you might not encounter the error now, but when you go far and all, you would encounter it. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, clear, sir.
All right. So I have to choose anything here is fine. Anything, either 8, 19, 18, this. Anything from 8 is actually fine. So I always choose the latest 8, which is this one. Okay, install. Thank God we have classes Friday, Saturday. I'm just taking our time one step at a time, not to bombard us with so many information, right? Just one step at a time. Apply. Okay, so I need to apply this. Yep. Okay, that is installing. The second one I'll need to install is the let's check okay, Microsoft Entity Framework for itself, right? So let's check what it's all about. That has been installed. So if you come here now, it's telling us that it supports link queries. Now, in our code, remember I talked about link, right? We'll be using link to query data from the database. So this package helps us to do that. That is why we need this, right? That is why we need this. So we need to install that. Then change tracking, schema migrations, and all. We also need that, and that's why we need to install this. Change it to 8 alpha. We're done. All right. Install. So I expect that after doing this, I'll push the code. Just try and clone. Okay, I've not explained clone. No, I need to talk about how to clone it to your local machine. Okay, I'll talk about that later. After now. Then I think there is design. Yeah. Design now. Let's check what this design does. This design now is the ORM, yeah, EF data ORM. So this design, what it does is it helps manage the ORM flow, right? Like it's still the ORM, trying to translate our model, what the class we have written, the entities, translate it so that the database will understand our entities. So this does that. So we install this too. Dun, 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 dun. Then we have the one more thing, which is okay. Let me apply. One important one is the tools. Where's the tools? Yeah, these are the tools. Yeah, this is very important too. So these tools now, like, yeah, we would need to run migrations, update the database, and this is why we need this. Very, very, very important. Add migration, bundle migration, drop, get migration. All this, we use them. That's why we need this package. I hope no one is confused though. We are trying to set up or install packages that we need. All right. Okay, I think that is that for it. Now I have installed everything that I need. Yeah, I've installed everything that I need for this course. All right, so I've done that. I'll just close this since I'm done with that basic for now. Now, I would come here. Let's see the changes that have been made. Wow, it's a whole lot. I have how many changes? Just this now, and it's still from the object, the obj. All these files are not, you don't need to push this, like I said, to GitHub. So you just need to ignore this. So you right click, ignore this stuff. Same thing here. Right click, ignore all this, then ignore all this. Yep, and we are good. All right, and this is the only change that has been made. I've not added any domain yet. So I'm just thinking what we would do now is, I don't know if that would make sense. Sammy, have you created a branch before? You know about branching?
Yes, I do create branches.
Okay. I think we'll do something now. We are going to do something practical now, right? So this is what, let me stage this change that has been made first. Okay. All right. So it's going to be practical, right? Uh, yeah, all right. So I'm staging that change, which is I created the domain, all this, and just create everything, commit stage and push. So I've done that now. It's been pushed to GitHub, right? So what I would want to do now, the reason for doing this now, I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone, like get our hands dirty, prepare us for our project, which is coming. Yeah. So let's just get used to it. So what the task you will do now, I want to see, okay, each of we have I would want, okay, can you drop your GitHub on the GitHub username, just drop it on the channel. Everyone will drop their GitHub on the channel. So I'll just add us to the repo. So after doing that, right, once you have cloned it, right, let me show us how to clone a repo from GitHub. So I've done this. Let me go to the browser first. This is the GitHub. The gift, can you see this?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Marian, have you used GitHub before? Marian Uba, have you used GitHub before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are good with GitHub.
But not really that good.
Ah, you are good now. Senior dev, you are good. You are good. Yeah, you are good. Don't worry.
It's just show us how to do it.
All right. So I come to a GitHub. This will be the URL I'll send to the channel. I just come
Which
here.
one? Okay.
I'll send this to the URL. So you just route to this. You click it. It takes you to this UI. Then you come to code. This code here. This is what you copy. This icon here is for you to copy. You click on it. You just copy it, right?
Yes, sir.
After doing that, you create a folder. Let me open this folder first. You create a folder. Can you see my um, desktop explorer? My explorer.
No.
Right, I'm coming. Uh, 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 uh. Hold on, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. This window. Okay. Okay, let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Maybe. All right. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Can you see this now?
No. Yes.
My Explorer. So assuming this is your folder, right? And you want to clone, um a Git repo, right? Just right click here. Once you right click here, show more options. Yours might be different. Then open with Visual Studio. Open with Visual Studio, right? I hope this
Yes.
will show. All right, I think this should show. Okay, hold on. I would make this visible first. Just wait. Um, Or instead of doing that, because it's not taking us to where we are going to, instead of doing that, we can actually open the Visual Studio proper. Let me open another one. I would make that visible now. Okay. All right. So let me make this visible so that you can see this. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you see my screen?
We are
Yeah,
seeing the
we can
gates.
see your screen, the GitHub.
All right. Wait. How about this? Can we see this?
Yes, we
Yes.
can see your Visual Studio.
Okay. So I have clone a repository, open please, and this is what we need. Clone a repository. So we click this, then it comes here. We need this is where we type the URL that we copied from the GitHub. Then the part where you need to save it. That folder we created, this folder here, folder 2, it's the part is desktop folder 2. So I have to route to this folder 2 to store that. And how do I do that? I come here, click, then try to locate it, desktop folder 2. This is where it is. Then I select this particular folder. And once I clone this, it's going to clone everything. And if I'm done with that, I just have to go to the, okay, once I do that, it automatically opens the repo here. I just need to click on the Solution Explorer and I will see it. This is it. Are we following?
Yes.
It's very simple and straightforward. Now about creating a branch. Once you have cloned it, the idea is clone it first. After cloning it, create a branch, right? Let me close this. Okay. So after cloning it, great, you will still rewatch this video so that in case you are trying to follow along, you have cloned it. Now you come here, this place. Yeah, you come here. Can you see this?
Yes.
You come here, then new branch, create, click on new branch. Then this is it now. And type the name of the branch. So your task will be creating the model, right? Creating the model. So you just say your name, which is gift slash model. That will be the name of your branch. Don't worry about, I know you'll be confused about branching and all. Don't worry, there are different ways to learning things. Even if you don't understand what it means, do it repeatedly. Once you are doing it and you are reading the theoretical aspect, it will all make sense. Okay. So this will be the name of your branch. Everyone take note. So
Okay.
Sami slash model is saying you want to create just models and all. So once you have done this, you create it based on this master branch. You create it. So once you create it, it's going to automatically route to this new branch, which is gift slash model, which is what we see here. It has routed to this gift slash model. Now, whatever you do here would be on this branch. Right? I don't want to explain in depth about this part. Now, your task would be after you have created a branch, just it's simple. I want to say everyone will do this. Deadline is Thursday morning. Yeah. What you need to do now is create your models. I just need the models inside this project here under this domain. You can just right click, then add. You can come here and add the class if you want to. Yeah, so just do that. Create the models in this domain. After you have done everything, come here, make the commit, then push. I want to see it. Is that clear?
Some model for what?
Just the model for this tax management application. Just create your own models.
And any model name?
Just any model name. You have done the tax management now. I know it was part of your tax now one time like that. Is it tax 3 or tax 4? Yes. So those models you have created before, I just need the models. For example, okay, let me do, for example, project model. For example, project. This is what I need. It's loading. Just hold on. Yeah, this is what I need. Finish. You do same for this straightforward. So the essence of this is I want to see how you guys, I want you to like push the GitHub, like just collaborate. I just want us to collaborate together. Yeah. That's how we'll learn too. Right?
Understood.
Okay. So deadline is on Thursday. Who else is confused? Is it clear? Are we good? Okay, Marian, go ahead.
So how do you create branch again? I don't get that part.
You will watch the video now. Okay, it's here now. I don't. Okay, it's here. This, you see this place here, down the bottom side of my screen. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
You click on it. You see new branch. You create a new branch. This is where you type the name of the branch. Once you type it, if it's a uber slash model, once you do that, you create it, and that's all.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yep. So are we good? We'll end now. On Thursday, we'll continue with the models and the setting up the database and stuff. We are trying to take our time one step gradually, one step at a time. Okay. So are we good, guys?
Yes.
Let but no, let me delete this before there will be a conflict. How
What do
do
you
I
say?
delete this? I want to delete this. Okay, there's a way to delete it anyways, but just I'll delete it later so that when you are creating yours, it will not conflict with my own branch. But since I've not pushed this, when you create yours, it will work. So what you guys need to do is create, send me your GitHub username. Yeah, Marian, go ahead.
So how do we get the reporting link?
Yeah, I'll send it to the group now. I'll send it to the channel now. Yeah. But
So
you
I said we
won't
should send what?
your GitHub username. I know you, the gift, you don't have a GitHub username.
I'll wait today. I'll send it today.
Okay, just send it to the channel. Yeah,
Also.
everyone send your, so that I add, because okay, you can clone it. Yes, you can clone it, but you won't be able to push because I have not added you as collaborator. Yeah. So you don't have that permission to push to my repo. You can only clone it because it's public, but you can't push. So I need to add everyone as collaborators. Yeah.
That they used to ask someone as collaborator.
One step at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
also
got
send the GitHub videos that you said we should use.
Yes, it's true.
okay, yes. I'll find one and send it. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So in the absence of no question, thank you all. And
There's questions, so
all right, is it pertaining to this class or should I stop the record? Is it pertaining to this class?
but I just you can just stop the record, Sha.
Okay.